Alright gamers, today it's time to go cruising down the river with Niagara and the expansion, Spirits of Niagara. Let's check it out. Alright, so as you take a look at this game, you'll see that the boxes go underneath the board. So the board lays on top of both the boxes, so the waterfall here can move these little clear plastic discs that you have. And here's exactly what they look like. If you can see that, they're just clear plastic discs that you'll slide, and it's all groove. So it'll slide down here. Let's see if I can get it. Yep. And then as you push it down, sometimes it comes out of the groove there, but as you push it down, it'll move these clear discs off the waterfall, and then you would just add them onto here and keep sliding it down, and that's kind of how the river will flow in this game. Now in the base game, you're going to have 2 single holder canoes of any color. If you get the expansion Spirits of Niagara, you will get the double holder for gems in your canoe, but this is only in the expansion. There's also a 6-player expansion where you get a black player, and you get a little sticker that goes right here on the board so you can play up to 6. Now whoever has the little lifesaver, they are the first player. Once they are done, they'll pass it to this player, and so on and so forth, and that's how play proceeds. You also have a little cloud icon which will dictate what the weather is. I'll get to how that works later on. You set it at 0 to start off the game. There is also, in the Spirits of Niagara expansion only, the elk. And what happens if you get to the edge here, your canoe does, you can put it in the center there, and you can help, the elk can help you move upstream faster, give you +2 on all your movement. Now once you get up to the shoreline here, the elk disappears and goes back here to the next player who reaches the last space here, and then they'll get to have the elk antlers. Again, that's in the Spirit of Niagara expansion. The last thing about expansion is this whirlpool here. It's a little sticker that you put on the clear plastic tile, and on a whirlpool it will give you a +1 in movement if you're headed downstream. So for instance, let's say it was right there and I had a movement of 3. I'd go 1 and get to move there for free, 2, 3. It helps me move faster. However, moving upstream, it will slow me down. Let's say I had 3 movement again going up. Well, I'd have to go 1, 2, and then 3 because the whirlpool's hard. Once the whirlpool falls off, it goes back into the stack or back onto the edge, and you can keep playing it. The last little expansion thing from Spirits of Niagara is this little wooden beaver. Look at this dude. He's hilarious. What this is, as the weather can change, it can change the tempo of how fast the current's going. Maybe it'll speed up the current. Maybe it'll slow it down. But if it gets to where it's dark, like really thunderstorming, well then you're going to put the beaver on there, and he's going to take a ride on the closest to the entrance cube. Now nothing happens if you land on him, but he's going to ride out this river all the way down to the end. Now when the beaver falls off, that is when you are allowed to change the river token. It'll set back up to 0 again. But that's only when times are at its worst. Now in between this time, if you were to play a cloud car, which I'll show you in a minute, if you played that card, it wouldn't take any effect as long as the beaver is on the board. So that's another Spirit of Niagara expansion thing there. Now getting into the base game, what you're going to do, all players are going to be given certain cards, paddle cards, as you see here. They all look like paddles. They all look the same there. And they are numbered 1 through 6. And there's also a little cloud card. Now, if you played the cloud card, what you would get to do is move the cloud up or down 1 space. So if you want the river to run faster, you'd move it down 1. If you want it to move slower, if it's a big sunny day, it's -1 on the river content. Now, I'll explain what determines how fast the river runs. But first off, you're going to pick one of these paddle cards. Now, again, if you have the Spirits of Niagara expansion, you're going to have 3 extra paddle cards per player. This means you can move 1, 2, or 3. You can determine what you want to be. This one is a 7 movement, self-explanatory there. And this one is a rope, which tethers your canoe to the shoreline. So let's say I'm right here and I just want to stay tethered here because I may want to pick up a jewel on my next turn. I'll play this card. I will stay tethered, meaning when the river flows, I will not move. I'll just move my pawn off the board and let the river flow by me because I've tethered my canoe. Now, every round, every player is going to pick one of these cards secretly, and they're going to place it down like so no one can see. And let's say there's a brown player here and a green player here, and let's get a green player's token, and try not to cheat too much here. Let's get there you go, brown and green. Now At the same time, everyone reveals their paddles here. I have 6 spaces. They have 3 to move, or 3 actions, and they have 7. Wow, everyone got real greedy there. All right, so as read, what could I do? Well, for 1 movement point, I could load a gem. So I load this one, let's say the pink one, and I go, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't make it past the tethered line, so I'm still in the river. However, brown player, he moves 3. So he goes up 1, loads a diamond for 2, and then it's 3 right here. Then the green player, he gets, maybe he goes back. 1, 2, grabs 1 here, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, he's right there. So he almost made it. Now, let's say he did make it to shore. Well, then he would just unload the gem and he'd have 1 point. And the goal is you have to get a different combination of gems, or as we play it, 1 of each color to win the game. But anyway, there are different scenarios on how you can win the game depending on how you want to play it. Now, this is where everyone stopped, though, at the end of that round. So what we would do, we would now move the river. And how we determine that is whoever played the lowest card. So in this case, thank goodness Brown picked 3. If Brown would have picked, let's see, do we have a 6 in here? A 5. Then the river would move 5, and someone may be dead. But he moved to 3, so now we're going to move the river down 3 spaces. So we go 1, and as you see, it's, whoop, got a little caught there from the last time. 2, oh, still getting caught. All right, let's see. Oh, man. 2, it's not moving there. 2 and 3, all right? Now, as you see, everyone moved down, and sometimes it does get caught up right there. I see there's a little divider there. Sometimes it gets caught there. Anyway, I have 3 extra discs. You would put them right here, or if you have a stack, you may have to add, of course, the whirlpool token there and have it move down. Now, as you see, brown's back here, red's back here, green's back here. What if one of them had pushed us over the waterfall? Well, we would lose that jewel that we had, and we would also lose that canoe from the game. Remember, you only get 2 canoes in the game, so you don't want to lose your canoes. They're very, very precious. Another thing that can happen in the game is you can steal a jewel from another player. So let's say I ended my turn 1, 2 here. Well, I could actually steal this jewel from this player if I didn't have any jewels in my canoe. Now, at the end of the round, what you're going to do is you're going to remove all the paddles that you played, and you're going to discard these from your hand. You can't play them again. You have to play one of the new cards that are in your hand. Now, once you go through all of your paddle cards, only then can you take all your paddle cards back and start over again. So it ensures that you have to move or use each paddle card at least once. So that adds up to about 1 every 10 rounds. You're going to have to use each one of them. So of course the weather's going to move up and down. You're going to have to tether your boat from time to time. So it's very strategic on what paddles you play and when. Because if you get all the way down here but you don't have enough power to get up front, you're in trouble of falling out of the waterfall there, my friend. After that, of course, the first player token will go to the next player, and they'll go around and round until everyone collects the jewels, or the first player to collect all the jewels wins. Now, there is another mini expansion called the Diamond Joe expansion, and all this is just a little white ship here. He starts at the end here, and Diamond Joe can be loaded up with one of these special gems that are really hard to get because they're right next to the waterfall. These are the hardest ones to get. But Diamond Joe starts here, and he always moves the exact same spaces as the first player. So, for instance, if I was the first player and I said I'm moving 5 spaces, Diamond Joe's going to move 5 spaces. He moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, let's say if someone was here, let's say if, here we go, brown player was here. Now, brown player could trade with Trader Joe. He doesn't mind what jewel he gets. Trader Joe will trade for anything. So you can trade, one of these purple jewels if you had one. You could trade one of that for yours, and that way you can get the harder to get jewels at the end of the waterfall better. Now, what happens if Diamond Joe falls over the waterfall? Well, basically, he just dump his jewel and restart again at the bottom here, and you can load him up with another rare jewel and move him back upstream. Diamond Joe never dies when he goes over the waterfall. And again, that's just a mini self-expansion that's part of the game. Again, though, it's the player who can make it back with X amount of jewels, any combination or one of each, like I said, is the winner of Niagara. All right, so final thoughts. What do I think about this game? Well, to be honest, I absolutely adore it. I love everything about this game. I'd heard about this game. I checked it out. I was like, yeah, I got to buy this game. This is very early when I was getting into board games. And it's just so much fun. The only problem is the disc kind of, as you saw in the video, they kept getting stuck. It's funny because when I did my practice on it, the river ran smoothly. A lot of times it runs smoothly. Sometimes you do have to hold down that middle to move the disc. That is the only complaint I have about the game. The pieces look nice. The jewels look nice. Going up and down the river can be very hard. Now, I kept showing you Spirits of Niagara because I really think you should buy this expansion. I think it's necessary. If you do not have it, if you just have the base game, it will not be good enough. The game is a little hard if you play it by the base. We tried it at the base, and it wasn't as fun as when we added the expansion in. And now I always play with the expansion just because it makes the game that much better. Now, what about the Diamond Joe expansion? Here it is in a little drawstring bag. It has the little white canoe, and it has an instruction book in here too that I'm not going to pull out, but it's in there. And do you need this? Not really. If you have this expansion, there's no reason to go get Diamond Joe. Diamond Joe, if you just have the base set and you don't want to pay for the expansion, Diamond Joe costs $5. How you get him is you email Rio Grande Games and you say, I want the Diamond Joe Niagara expansion. They'll email you back, tell you to send $5 to their PayPal account, which basically just pays for shipping, and they ship it straight to you. They're not looking to make extra money. They have plenty of these in stock as of 2017, and I did it too and got the little mini expansion. I love it. I love Diamond Joe. We have played with Diamond Joe once or twice, but again, if you have Spirits of Niagara, you do not need Diamond Joe. But Diamond Joe to me is a little special. Now, Rio Grande Games. This is the only game in my collection from Rio Grande Games, and that is a shame. They make a lot of big games like Power Grid, Dominion, and other games that I do not like. I don't like those games. I played them. I did not get into them. I don't know what the hype is about them, but I do love Rio Grande Games. I think those people are some of the, well, I know they're one of the best publishers out there because they are so kind to the fans. They are prompt to respond. They want to fix your problem, and they want you to play their games. At Gen Con, they always give you the best deals. Always give you the best deals. I mean, they were practically giving away copies of Power Grid and Dominion to fans. They just wanted you to play their games, and I can really appreciate that. And I really wish there were other games I love from Rio Grande Games. But to be honest, Niagara is the best, hands down game they have. You can still find it for sale. I know Rio Grande Games sells it at their booth. 2016 Gen Con, as of this video. Last year, 2016, they had several copies of Niagara and the Spirits of Niagara expansion. And if you asked them, they would ship you a Diamond Joe mini expansion too. The guys are just really awesome there. So should you get Niagara in the expansion and Diamond Joe? Yes, to all three. This is honestly one of my favorite games, probably a top 20 game at that. So there it is. Get Niagara. And until next time, gamers, game on.